You're tuned into the show
that informs, improves, and inspires racers everywhere.
The Northwest Race Report. And now, here are your horsepower and performance hosts, Terry Bridges and Glenn Lippy Tower. Hey, what is going on, everybody? This is Terry Bridges, your horsepower and performance broadcaster, and I'm coming to you a Sunday night. We got a special Sunday night edition of Inside Groove, and what that's going to be is it's going to be a new series where we get up close and personal with racers and people of interest in the motorsports world. Just kind of a way that you can, actually get to know our racers and the people that make it go on a little bit more than just the, hey, how was the race? Hey, who are your sponsors? We want to know about them. But tonight we got a special guest on because I just thought it was necessary. There's a little bit of confusion going on out there when it comes to what's going on down in Salem, Albany, and the State Fair races coming up here in August. So what I've done on this special edition of Inside Groove is I've got Jason Suciich here. And we're going to talk a little bit about what's going to go on at the State Fair race. We're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Albany, and then we're also going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Salem because there are some changes. Nothing major, but there are some changes coming up this winter, and we want you to know about them. So I want to welcome to the show Mr. Jason Suciich. What's going on, Jason? Welcome to the show, bud.
Thank you, Terry. How are you doing tonight?
Doing awesome, man. I'm doing really awesome. How about you? How are you doing?
Doing good. Working on carts in the garage, getting ready for upcoming races.
Yeah, you've been a busy beaver heading up to Deming. Your daughter's been doing an outstanding job up there. Are you pretty happy with that?
I am very happy with the way she's been driving this year. We had some tough breaks at Clay Cup. Thursday night, it's a stacked field. You get some of the best drivers up there at Clay Cup. She had 28 cars in her class Thursday night, qualified 6th on Thursday night, qualified, I believe, 4th or 5th on Friday night, which started her in the 6th position for the main. Had some interesting phone calls come in, some sponsors that had been seeing some of my videos of her driving, and they were interested in sponsoring her, and so it was good news. Put her in a good mood, but I think it put a little pressure on her, and we had some tough breaks. She caught the wall on turn 1 about 7 laps in, and ended up breaking the front end, so it took her out of the main event, which is too bad. She was really looking forward to being in the top on that race. But big congratulations to, Team Thornhill. Colby Thornhill just drove his butt off. He started pole, and he led the entire race. So it was a fun time. It was good to get up there and watch her race, up and Deming.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you say the pressure thing. I mean, that's natural. It's going to happen anytime you're up there. I mean, I think you could look at that two ways, right? You could say, well, if you weren't a little bit on the nervous side and really, kind of twitchy and nervous, you're probably not going to do very good. And on the same breath, she was nervous, whatever, so she maybe did some things that she wouldn't normally do. But all in all, that's what it's all about, because making mistakes is how you get better. If you're not making any mistakes, how do you know what to fix, right? So I think, she's got a good head on her shoulders, and I think that will kind of subdue as she, does it a little bit more. I mean, come on, you qualify 5 out of 28, in right. That kind of a field. I mean, that's impressive right there. And I always tell everybody, where you finish or people say, oh, you crammed the wall, you hit the wall, she didn't do this. Your performance isn't always indicative of where you finish. I mean, you can still maybe finish down the list of ways, but still have a great performance, right? It's all what you're looking at. And so,
right.
Yeah,
she was pretty, she's pretty upset. But like I told her, hey, you know what? You don't make mistakes if you're not trying. So, I've always been taught, in sports, basketball, those with the most turnovers, it's not that they're careless. It's just they're actually trying.
Exactly. Well,
you try new things and you make mistakes.
Absolutely. And you watch. I mean, she strikes me as the type of kid that is going to, learn from that, and that same mistake is probably not going to happen. I'll bet you it doesn't happen again. I mean, just right. She's been there. She's done that now, so she's used to it. So great job to Bailey Jean. That's good stuff. That's not easy company up there. I mean, those.
No, not at all.
Right.
Not at all. I mean, like I said, there was some tough competition.
Oh,
you
bet.
Just Jesse Slotfield and Colby Thornhill. I mean, those two drivers they're amazing. I mean, they know they've got their game down, and to be anywhere near those guys is an accomplishment by itself.
Oh yeah, but so kind of tell me so. So obviously you're her wrench and you do all this stuff ahead of time and at the track and all that, but as a dad, I mean, how does that make you feel?
Well, actually a lot of, her crew chief is actually her grandpa. He handles all of the micros for her 600 and her 1200. He's pretty much got that program down to a science. So, and he does a great job. Anytime, anything goes wrong, he's on top of it. Usually gets her right back out on the track, makes the proper adjustments. I mean, he's done a lot of studying, asking questions, watching, learning. So, all the props have really got to go out to her grandpa. When I make it up there about 2 to 3 times a year to watch her race, and it's just a pleasure for me to be able to go up there as a dad and be able to watch her race rather than being, a race director or race promoter where I've got to focus on other things.
Right.
And many of the times, I'm so busy focusing on other things that I don't get to see the kids race. And, a lot of the times at the end of the day, I'm saying, oh, how'd you finish? Because I've got to wear a different hat.
I hear you, man. That makes it.
I'm trying to promote it.
Yeah. But I mean, as a dad, when you do get to go up there and watch, I mean, how does it make you feel when you're out, when you're sitting there watching her out there competing with, I mean, how does it make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel good, especially, to hear, obviously that's her home track for the summertime, and so she's very well known up there. And, just to hear the announcer complimenting her, saying how far she has came this year, hearing people in the audience saying, how good she's gotten. She's pulling double duty this year, racing the 600 restricted, and she's also running a 600 open. One of the other drivers in the pits got into a car accident, and so they're not able to drive, and they offered up their car to her for more seat time.
Wow.
And so it's really, really nice to hear when I go up there that, just other people acknowledge that she's pulling double duty, how well she's doing in the 600 open, considering, that the car that she's got, it's not hers. And so, it doesn't have really everything I think that we would maybe put into it.
Mm-hmm.
She's just running with what she was given, and she's turning heads, with what she's doing with that car right now. So, I actually had the race promoter of Deming come up to me and tell me they've had many drivers in, that car, and she's made it look the best so far. So that made me feel really good.
Heck yeah.
And it makes me know that, she's taking this serious. She, that's all she does. That's all she wants to do. If she could race every day of the week, she'd be on the track somewhere.
Oh yeah. I mean, yeah. My dad used to come watch me play basketball stuff, and he would tell me, you'll never know what I'm feeling until you have kids of your own. He says, you just can't really explain it. And it's true, right? Watching my kid play basketball, I mean, there's a chill that kind of goes through you when you hear their name or they do something good. And, yeah, man, I'm really happy for you. That's you work so hard at it, and with all the other hats you're wearing, I just think it's an awesome reward for you for all the hard work that you put in, not only on her stuff, but at the track and all this other stuff. So, which brings us to kind of tonight's show. We got the State Fair race coming up at the Oregon State Fairgrounds, which was kind of a shocker for everybody. I don't even think anybody thought this was going to happen. It just kind of happened, did it not?
Yeah, absolutely. Throughout, last year, a lot of people had came to me and said, man, how do we get these State Fair races back? And I just, I'm still new. I'm coming into my second year of Salem, so I've had a lot of other things that I'm trying to learn and catch on. And so, I just kind of told everybody, hey, I don't know. I'll work on that. And actually the fair, Oregon State Fair, came to Bob Leach this year and said, hey, we want to put on some kind of a dirt series. And so just through a lot of meetings and talkings, we ended up setting up a bunch of different events on the dirt. So Outlaw Carts was one of them. We're going to have flat track bikes on another one. We've got some tractor pools, truck pools, monster trucks, and demolition derby, all happening this year at the State Fair.
Wow.
All of that, Bob and his crew and myself will be there. Obviously, the track is going to have to be, we have to build the track from scratch this year. We don't want to use the dirt that we used during the normal Salem season. Just because you're going to have monster trucks out there, you're going to have tractors, you're going to have demolition derbies. We don't want the dirt getting contaminated with fuels and coolants and, other things like that. So Bob and his crew right now are actually screening dirt, going through, I think they said about 100 yards of dirt, screening it, getting all the rocks and anything else out of it. And then we'll have to go in and build the track, and we'll have to build it, so it's going to be suitable for the monster trucks. I think the monster trucks will open up the Oregon State Fair this year. We'll have to change the track configuration probably for the tractor pools. And then when the Outlaw Carts come, we'll have to change the configuration there, try to get a little bit of banking in there and make an oval track out of that. There's also going to be, during the week, I've heard, and I don't know the details on this one yet, but you can go in and rent a go-kart, run some laps. I'm sure they'll have, time limits, or I'm not exactly sure what their procedure is going to be, but so we'll have that going on during the week. And then, again, like I said, we'll have flat track bikes, speedway carts, and then we're going to close out the year with the demolition derby. So, again, we'll have to go in and reconfigure the track for that. So it's very exciting news. We're still working with the State Fair week to week on getting more details, trying to finalize more things. So we've got the dates. We just got an extension on our time. We were only going to run an hour and a half. And again, this is being the fair that's making the schedule. So they kind of gave us the time frame that, hey, you can run from 1:30 to 3. And the reason they're doing this, I've had a lot of questions about this, is, during the Oregon State Fair, they have a bunch of other exhibits going on. And they want to try to make sure that if you're coming down to the fair, you have time to visit the other 10 or 15, 20 exhibits.
Right.
So they don't want to do a bunch of scheduling of exhibits that occur at the same time because, one family might come down and really want to watch the Outlaw Carts, at the same time, there might be a cooking event going on that they wanted to watch too. So
right.
we've got to kind of try to work with all the different venues and, try to just squeeze into a time frame to where, it works for us and still works for the other exhibitors.
Well, that's awesome.
But as of this week, they did give us another half hour, so we will get 2 hours on the track. I am waiting for the confirmation if we'll go a half hour earlier or a half hour later. So it might be 1 to 3 or it may be 1:30 to 3:30. But either way, it's good news. We were kind of stressing a little bit over, an hour and a half.
Right.
We obviously want to get as many classes out there as possible. The main objective to the state fair races is promoting the sport. We're not, we're going out to race, but our main focus is we want to promote the sport. The state fair obviously is going to be just filled with kids of all ages. And if you look at some of our divisions right now, some of those kids classes are lacking. And it's kind of worrisome for the future. What happens when the older generation moves on or goes to the bigger cars? What's next if we don't have no kids racing now?
Absolutely. And I don't know if that's a testament to, what maybe, I don't know. Because I think it's hurting everywhere. But, that being said, we definitely need to promote, I don't know that it's so much the sport, but we do need to get that younger crowd, AKA 5 to, 9, 10, 11, we need to get more of the juniors in there because they're just basically are none.
Absolutely.
So,
in the outlaw division, those kids classes are pretty well off right now.
Right.
Speedway division, I'd love to see, some more kids coming out in the kid cars, the junior 1, junior 2s, and the bikes, the flat track bikes, they're medium. They've got a pretty good turnout there for the kids. So, but still, it doesn't hurt to get, a couple more kids out there involved. I mean, one kid, if we can pull one kid in from the state fair, I think we accomplished our goal.
Mm-hmm.
That one kid is going to go back to school and tell all his friends about it. And again, I mean, it's a stepping stone. We've got to start somewhere. And I'm not setting a big goal. I would love to get 10 kids interested in it, but for right now, if we can just get 1 or 2, then we've done something good for the sport. So
there was a little confusion, I do believe, because a couple of the racers I thought, they were saying, well, geez, I mean, the speed, it's not really a race. I don't know if I really want, to do that, blah, blah, blah. It seems like, so to make it clear, the state fair asked for the outlaw guys. It wasn't you guys that said, okay, hey, we're going to bring the outlaws in and any of that. It was the state fair that says we want outlaw carts and we want flat track motorcycles. Am I understanding that correctly?
That is correct. And if you look at their website, that's how they've got it. They've already started promoting and started advertising it. August 28th, they've got it advertised as the Outlaw Championship. And then for the September 4th race, they've got it advertised as Flat Track Championship.
Wow. So you brought in the Speedway carts just because basically it sounds to me like you didn't want them to feel left out.
I didn't want them to feel left out. I mean, they are we say, we have the Outlaw division, we have the Speedway division, we have the Flat Track Bike division. All three of them race at separate times, but all in all, we're all a big racing family.
That's right.
And I don't want to take away from speedways and give to cage carts. I don't want to take away from cage carts to give to bikes. I want to try, we gotta improve all of the divisions. And so, if I can just, get a couple classes of each division, then the spectators and the crowd, will have something, it'll open their eyes and realize, that it's not just, a go-kart, or it's not just a flat track bike. We've got outlaw cars. We've got different styles of cars out there that might interest people more.
Yes, I believe it will. So in a nutshell, so we can wrap this up and move on. I mean, basically, so is everybody going to run from 1 to 3 on that specific day, or will it be at different times? Will it be 1 to 3, 5 to 7, or how's that going to work?
Nope, it's going to be on August 28th and September 4th. We've got the time allotted. It's 2 hours. So we'll use 1 to 3.
Okay.
August 28th, we're going to use our intermediate outlaw carts. So it'll be our intermediate Subarus and our LO206s. And that class is pretty well booked up. I think I was asking for 10 or 12 drivers to go to the fair with me. And I think right now I'm sitting at about 10 or 11 drivers, so pretty full field for that one.
Is that each? So 12 in intermediate and then 12 in 206, or is that combined?
No, that'll be combined.
Okay.
And it'll be the Outlaw 206 division. And then on the 28th, we're also going to take the 125 Outlaw cage carts with us. And then we'll also have, we'll probably do the fart cart from the Speedway division, and then we'll do the open cage 500 on the 28th as well. So my plans are we'll have 4 classes on the 28th.
And which will be what? When will the are the Speedway carts going to get to run, like the Yamahas and stuff, or no?
They are. They're going to run on the 4th.
Okay, so they'll run so it'll be 125s, it'll be the Predator class, and then the open cage, and then the Yamahas, and I think it's 206s, is that right?
No, on the 28th, it'll be the Outlaw division, so it'll be the intermediate Subarus, and then it'll be the 125s, the fart carts, and the open cage 500s.
Oh, on the 28th,
then,
okay.
Yep, and then on September 4th, we'll have, we're going to do the Speedway LO206. We're going to do the KTs. We're going to do flat track bikes. And so Speedways, KTs. There's one other one we were going to do on the 4th as well. I don't have that list in front of me, but it's all posted on Facebook on what classes are going to run what day.
And is that on Salem Speedway?
It'll be Salem Speedway Facebook. We'll have that.
Okay. And then what about your website?
That website is, I'm working on that as we speak. I'm just trying to get the winter schedule posted on there, and then I'll get the fair races posted on there. And that website, it is www.salemspeedway.com/Salem Speedway 1.
And
that website has all of the schedule for, currently it has the Albany schedule up there. It has all your rules, your classes, pretty much anything you need to know about Salem or Albany is on that website.
Right on. All right. So racers, those of you interested, I think it is closed, right? The 206, everything's full up. So if you're not on the list, you may want to call and check to see, just in case you might have a waiting list in case somebody can't make it or they break or what have you. But as of right now, it's full. Entries are done. But if you don't mind being an alternate or being on the list to be an alternate, I guess give Jason a call there.
We asked for 12 racers just because we want the spectators to have a good full field, but it doesn't mean that I won't allow 14. I may have some couple extras come in if someone's interested. Definitely, we'd come in, and if we end up with 14, we may just run all 14.
Sweet.
We just had to put a limit on there somewhere.
Oh yeah, I gotcha.
It is going to be a $25 registration fee, And the reason for that is because, we still are going to have track personnel present. We're going to have someone for the grid, someone kind of running around in the pits, because we are going to be on a very short time constraints. So we'll probably have someone running around out in the pits, getting everybody ready, getting them up to the grid. We're going to have a lap counter. We'll have to have our flagger, and we'll have to have a couple flaggers out for the infield. We do have to have a medic on site with us. So there's still, quite a few costs that, we have to pick up in order to make this happen. So
right.
It is a fun race. It is going to be, there is trophy classes, and then the state fair has given me 2 purses to work with. Again, they chose Outlaws, and they chose the flat track bikes. Now, I am bringing in the speedways, and so I am currently working on trying to find some sponsors so that way I can have a purse for one of the speedway classes. The purse classes, those ones are $50, and I believe part of that registration will go back to the purse as well. Each racer that is entering either event will get 1 free admission to the state fair. So after the event is over, bring your family and walk around the fair for the day and go out and enjoy some of the exhibits. Courtesy
of Salem Speedway.
Yes, sir.
Hey, and racers, the other thing too is, think about this. You've got some time, about a month. If you don't think you can go there and compete and go hard and just make it for fun, then you probably need to let Jason know so somebody else can get in there, because like I said, this is going to be, it's kind of a role model deal. You want to be on your, we don't want people seeing, a bunch of, nonsense going on out there. It's for fun. Yes, you're going to go hard, but there may be spins and touches and bumps that aren't going to get called. And so if you don't think you can handle that, then you probably should let somebody who can get in there and do it. That's what I think. But
absolutely. We welcome anybody and everybody to come down. The main thing we just want everybody to know ahead of time is this is really just for fun and just to put on a show for the spectators and to really try to promote the sport. We'll have some good, fun competition, but, all in all, we just, our main goal is to promote the sport. We want some of these other kids out there just looking to see what's going on and really get excited and show some interest in it. And if that happens, then we all just succeeded on promoting our sport.
Absolutely. So we're done with the state fair. Again, you can go to Salem Speedway on Facebook, or you can go to www.salemspeedway.wix.com/Salem Speedway 1. So now we move on to what everybody wants to hear. It's been in the air. It's been floating around. I know you're probably sick of the questions, and I know there's nothing concrete yet, but Albany is in jeopardy of no longer being there. Is that a correct statement?
That is a correct statement. Yes. Our counts have really been down. I know a lot of the other tracks around have had some pretty low kart counts as well. I know, Bob and I have had many discussions on trying to figure out what's going on. Why is everybody having low counts? And unfortunately, I think during the summertime, we're seeing a lot of our older kids, they have either moved on to the micro divisions, they're moving up to street stocks, they're out running 4-cylinders. I know I've been to a couple of the big track races this year, and I see a lot of our, Salem kids that are normally in a cage kart in a big car. So I think, they're getting out and experimenting, which is good. It's good for them, but on the flip side of that, it's hurting the summer programs.
Right. But I don't think this is really any surprise to anybody. I mean, I think this has been forthcoming for for years, right? I mean, we've had we went through we're going to lose Salem, the indoor, and, rallied and had, 2,000 plus letters in like 3 days. And then, the race comes around and there's, then there's 35 guys there, and you just shake your head and you go, man, we just about lost this place. And, this is, everybody said, thank you, Bob. And that's, but the best way to thank him is to come out in groves and give him some numbers that, make him feel like maybe, he did the right thing for standing up for it.
Right.
But,
and I think, in the past, the problems with Salem hasn't been the carters, the racers themselves. It's been more politics and things coming down from the city. Now with Albany, what we're facing is we're facing, where's all the carters at? Where's all the drivers? We're not really being forced to close by a city or anything. It's going to be just because there's no drivers there.
Well, that, and Bob's paying for that out of his own pocket, and I think we've all talked about this before. That was only going to happen for so long, and right. He believes in it. I know he does, but there again, believing in it and what you're seeing are two different things. So, but let's rewind just quickly, because a lot of people were upset that it went from the night show to the day show, but it's my understanding that it did that because some of the Outlaw Cage guys wanted to run both Willamette and Albany, and they could do that if the day show was there, and then they could go at night and run at Willamette. Is there any truth
correct.
To that?
That's 100% correct. Last year, a lot of drivers came to me and said, hey, if you did this in the mornings, we could go to Cottage Grove or Willamette Friday night, come up and run Albany Saturday morning, and still make it down to Willamette or Cottage Grove for the night show. And that's, my main objective here is to listen to the racers. This program is here because of the racers. It's not because of me. It's not because of, anybody else. It's the racers who have had the program here. And the best thing to do, I feel, is, listening to the racers. They are basically my customer. I got to listen to what they want. So we did make that switch. We thought, okay, we'll try it out. And unfortunately, I didn't see any of them come down for the Saturday morning. So we made a decision. And again, part of running a business, you've got to make changes. And so we said, okay, well, we're going to try to go back to the night show and see if that works. Right.
And I think therein lies the problem, because a few of the racers that I talked to said, wow, we hear that it's going to go that it's going to be, we got to be there at, 8 o'clock, and the driver's meeting's at 8 or 9, whatever. And, that means some of us are going to have to get up at, 4, 5, 6 in the morning to get there, ugh. And then, so they kind of said, well, geez, I'm going to think about, doing something else. So then they did that because it did go to the days. And then they committed and a lot of them did some pavement stuff, like a lot of the 206 guys, the Speedway 206 guys. They went up and did the Gold Cup and whatnot, and so they committed to that. So now we come back to nights, and it's kind of like, well, we recommitted to this thing because we knew that the day thing was going to work, so we were going to do that. So it's pretty hard for them to switch, midstream and go. So I think there is part of the problem right there.
Right. And again, I understand a lot of the programs are commitments. When you post a schedule, I know a lot of people will look at it at the beginning of the year and say, okay, I'm going to make this, and this race. And you're right, changing it, affects that too. We were just to the point to where the last day show that we had, the last morning show we had at Albany, you were there.
Yeah, there were 16 entries.
Yeah.
11 of them were bikes. 11 of them were bikes.
And a lot of those were double entries, riding in multiple classes. So,
yeah,
it just didn't justify continuing on doing it. We had to do something before Bob said, just, scratch the whole thing.
Right. I get it. And I don't think anybody can blame Bob Leach for feeling that way. I mean, I get it. Some might say, well, you didn't ask us Speedway guys, you asked the cage car guys, but you didn't ask us if we wanted that, So, I mean, what do you do? You try to do the best thing for everybody that's gonna, kind of still benefit you to some degree, and but there again. So really what needs to happen is we need to get some numbers up. I guess they don't have to be gargantuan, but they do have to improve. So is the 30th still kind of the teeter-totter as to what's going to take place?
The 30th is up in the air right now. Bob tore up the track. He was going to try to do some reconfiguring. I think since we've added that clay, we've kind of had some issues as trying to get a smooth track back. I mean, I know a lot of racers will agree that track has been rough. So we either battle with a rough track or we've been battling with a dust bowl. So I know Bob went out and has been doing some work on it. So we should, we'll know here this week how it's conforming and if it's going to come back together in one piece or not. So
the 30th is still then, it's on the calendar, but it's still, it may or may not happen then.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, well, like I said, it'll all depend if the maintenance is done and it forms back in together as smooth as we hope it is. Again, that's just another thing that, we listened to the racers after the last couple of races, and when it's just so bumpy that you just can't stay in your seat, and you're almost tipping over, we had to do something with that. So,
right.
Again, we're always trying to make it better for the racers. And so we do what we got to do, and we take those risks and hope that it only gets better.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we got about a little under. We got about 8 minutes left. So let's move on and touch on the indoor coming up. So the new
indoor season I am very excited about. We've got some big things coming down the chain for Salem this year.
Yeah, and the indoor schedule, the whole thing is up on the Salem Speedway Facebook page, correct?
It is. Wow. It is up. It is posted. Like with every year, though, I would expect to see 2 to 3 cancellations. The fair typically always double books something. And usually always comes to us and says, "Oh, we got to back off this weekend or this weekend." So, but for the most part, it's the same time as it always is. We're going to try to get in there the last weekend of November, and try to run all the way through the end of March.
So now, there's some rumors that the cage cart or the Cage Cup that happens every year at the end of the season is no longer. Is that true?
That is true. That is a very unfortunate situation, but it is true.
Was that a just a not agreeing of the minds? Was that just a hey, it's just not working out? Or can you even go there?
No, we can definitely talk about that. No, Matt has done a great job with Cage Cup. He's done a great job promoting it. The cart counts have always been good. As with any big show, there's always some issues. Big show, little show, you've always got some issues. But overall, Cage Cup was a very good event. Matt poured his heart and dedication into that event. And it just, it takes a lot of money to hold these big events.
Right.
And when you get going, you kind of lose track of your own wallet, of what you're putting into these events. I've already seen it myself. I want to put on a good show. I want to, make it good for the racers, and I kind of spend and don't pay attention to what I'm doing because I'm focusing on the racers. And, after time, that catches up to me.
Yeah, it'll snowball in a hurry. I
know there's a few sponsors that backed out this year on Cage Cup. Again, I don't believe it has anything to do with the event or who was putting it on. Sometimes, businesses just don't see enough revenue coming back. They tend to move on to other sources of advertising. So,
right.
The main reasons, that Cage Cup will not be happening this year, I believe, is just going to be, some of the sponsors went different ways. So, it's unfortunate for the sport, but
it happens.
We do have it happens, and Salem is going to. We're going to make it up, and we're going to have. We've got a couple big things here in the works.
So I understand what's going to kind of happen in a nutshell is you're gonna start things off with a big bang, with a big one at the start of the year, and then you're gonna end it with kind of a big bang as you're going out.
Absolutely. So November 5th and 6th is our first scheduled Outlaw Kart weekend. Salem Indoor Speedway, Oregon Outlaw Speed Shop, and Schofield Karts and Parts have all joined together. And between the three of us, we are going to hold a 2-race series. So that first race will happen November 5th and 6th. And that race will be a bigger scale race. It'll have its own separate purse. And then what we'll do is March 25th and 26th, we're going to have a second series race. So it'll be race 2 of 2. Again, that race will have its own separate purse. And then we're going to throw out a challenge. Any driver who can win first place in their class for both series races will have a third bonus purse waiting for them. Wow.
That's kind of cool.
So we are currently working on obtaining sponsors. So, if anybody out there is interested in sponsoring the series, we're definitely looking for that. We just started this yesterday. We're opening up the purse with $3,000 already. So once we get a little bit closer to the date, we should have a better idea of what our purses are going to be, and those will obviously grow throughout the year as more people want to come in and join us and help the racers out, and then sponsor us with either finances or parts, anything like that. Helps everybody.
Wow, that's awesome. So
yeah,
$3 grand.
Big news for Salem. That should be be a pretty good event.
Absolutely. Now that'll be just strictly cage carts, correct? There's nothing else running with them, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Those ones will be cage carts, just because we anticipate having good counts again. So we want to make sure to not have to take away from the Outlaw guys, so the series can go smooth.
That's awesome. Well, man, we're about out of time. We got about 2 minutes. So how many dates do the indoor going to go this year? I mean, is it every weekend from November till March, or is it every other weekend?
No, the Outlaw carts will be every other weekend for the most part. There's going to be some scheduling in there that they may have 2 weeks off.
Mm-hmm.
January 28th is going to be our BK9. That event already is looking huge. I'm already getting calls from the East Coast, from racers out there looking to come out this way.
Wow, that's awesome.
So, I think with the BK, the Speedway guys, they'll see a couple weeks of some back-to-back races, so that way they're getting set up and tuned in and ready to go for the BK. We are also going to do some 2-day events for the Speedway guys and for the flat track bikes. Again, a lot of the Speedway and flat track bikes said, hey, we would like to have some 2-day events as well. So August or January 28th will be BK9. January 29th will be the following that following day. So of Sunday, we're going to go ahead and hold another speedway race that day as well, since a lot of the people will already be here in town. A lot of the guys said, hey, we want to run the 29th too. So, but there will be some kind of an event going on almost every weekend at Salem Indoor.
Sweet.
We will run the weekend after Thanksgiving, but we will not run during Christmas, as I believe Christmas is on a Saturday or Sunday this year. So we will not be doing anything that weekend.
Got it.
But other than that, every other weekend there will be some kind of a racing venue going on.
Sweet. Well, Jason Suciich, it's been a pleasure, man. Thanks for helping me and the Northwest Race Report kick off our new series, Inside Groove. I hope everybody digs it, but it'll be a little bit different than this. But this is kind of what it's for, right? Is to give so we can give the proper time, because sometimes on the show we just don't have time to get into everything. But this way we can break it down and see how it goes. I'm gonna try it on Sunday to see how it works out. If there's a better day, or everybody says, hey, it'd be better on this day, then we'll work on doing that. But I thought Sunday evenings would be nice. Everybody's kind of kicking back, and be kind of a good way to kick off the week with some racing. So I don't know. I guess we'll see. You're the guinea pig. So
nice. Well, that's okay. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, and just know that the Northwest Race Report is behind you. I know there's a lot of people that maybe are up in the air and have thought that things were different than they are, and that's why I wanted to have you on, so that people know that. I don't think there's any question. Anybody that knows you're about the racer. So it's just important everybody knows that. So
right, absolutely, and like I've told everybody in the beginning. I came into this, pretty green, as a rookie. I'm always looking for everybody's input. I'll listen to anybody. If anybody has any suggestions or, some things they'd like to see, please, appropriately come talk to me.
Yeah, keep it constructive.
In the middle of a race, jumping up and down is not the way to handle it. But, after a race, come pull me aside and let's talk about it. Email me, give me a phone call, shoot me a text, and I'll definitely, my number one goal, like I've said the whole show here is, I want to listen to the racers. So I'm definitely open for, everything.
That's awesome. So the place you can go is Facebook, Salem Speedway on Facebook, for a lot of great information there, or you can go to www.salemspeedway.wix.com/ Salem Speedway 1. And that's their website. He's working on that, so you can find out schedules, points, all that good stuff. Jason, thank you so much, my man. And we're gonna see how this works out. Hopefully you're a good luck guinea pig, right?
I hope so. Hopefully everybody will tune in, listen, and we'll stand from this one.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thanks for being on the show, and to all of you out there, remember, a lot of these guys have day jobs. They're working hard for you. It's tough, so cut them some slack. But hope you enjoyed the show. I still got some work to do, but you'll be hearing more about it. I'll let you know more about it on Wednesday. Jason, thanks again, my man. I look forward to seeing you. All right, good night. Good night, everybody.